Hello, this is Eric Isaacson. I'm a front-end developer over in beautiful Fairfax County, Virginia, and I'm going to be talking about DivShot for this particular screencast. So DivShot is a static hosting platform. So based out of California, they host static applications, which are basically back-end free type of applications. A lot of integration with total front-end application. Like if you have an Ember app or an Angular app and you don't need a heavy backend, you can use static files or integration services such as those with WebRTC, and Firebase is a big one to use, and some really good stuff out there for it. So that said, the first things you need to do when you work with DivShot are going to be you need to sign up. So you're going to sign up. I typically sign up with GitHub. Well, I did sign up with GitHub in this case, but I typically recommend that people sign up with GitHub, and that's because it hooks into your GitHub repositories, and it'll show you the different commits and all that. So once you've done that, you're going to get the CLI, and the command line interface. If you don't know, you could do npm install-g. And that's DivShot-CLI. Now, if you are not comfortable with using CLI, you're going to have to get comfortable, because I don't think that that there's another way to use DivShot. This is the only way that I've known, and I started using DivShot last year when I attended the Static Showdown hackathon. And so the Static Showdown hackathon was basically a hackathon for static applications. It was 48 hours straight, and it's totally online, so anybody can join. So we had 3 teams from our company at 3 Pillar Global do this, and it was a really great experience. We learned so much about how total front-end applications will work without like a back-end like that, where you're integrating Dropbox or you're integrating Firebase. And we built an Angular app, which we're still working on, slowly but surely. And Polymer, they're big proponents of Angular, big proponents of Ember. DivShot is a great company that does a lot of great things, and so I really like using their products. So that said, we're going to go into our CLI. I created an empty app. You can see there's nothing in there, and I'm using a Yeoman generator, and I'll do yo polymer, and I'll say sure, because I really don't care. Okay. So we're going to build this Polymer app really fast. Now the reason I'm making this video is because I've had a couple of team members ask me about DivShot because it's not what they're used to, it's not in their wheelhouse, and I had a couple of people on Twitter also contact me about this. And I've looked at DivShot's YouTube, and there's some basic stuff on there. There's not a lot. Their docs are very good, but it's nice to see somebody actually use the products. So I decided to just make this really quick. And it's down and dirty, so this is not, a production screencast or anything, but we're going to build something and push it up and deploy. So let's see. Now we have this app here. Great. So you can see I have a grunt file, package, Bower, all my normal front-endy stuff. And if you're a front-end developer not using Node or NPM or anything like that, get using it. Okay? Gulp, Grunt, whatever tools you need, NPM runs all those. So important that you have Node. Alright, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to log in. So before you start working with the CLI, it's going to have to authenticate with DivShot's servers. So we're going to need to do DivShot login. This will expect your credentials to be there. And I'll go to the browser and authorize. And when I authorize it, now I can get started. I can start looking at the docs. I can go to my dashboard. Okay. I'm going to create a new app in this case. This is where all my apps will live. I have an existing app here. So I'm going to create a new app. I'll call this test app. Create. Alright, so let's just do it that way. I created one before. Oh, I probably created that one before too. How about test underscore app? Woohoo! Alphanumerics. Test appy. Alright. Yay! Okay, test appy. So I guess you can, from the dashboard, update all of your stuff. So you don't need Git. That's good to know. I'm just used to Git. I like Git. Git is good. So get on Git. If you want to, though, you can just do it. There's also the CLI, which I showed you. Right? We're doing login. They have a sample application if you want to look at that, and you can do the you can just kind of play with that, and that's marquee.git. If you go to DivShot, they have a lot of really cool stuff there for open source. They have le.io, which is the web components like CodePen type of thing. It's really amazing. They have built with Polymer there, I believe, and static. The static server, we had Scott Corrigan on Read the Source talk about that, and he went through the code for that, and that's a node server that they use for the to help us push all of these files and everything to the CDNs. So divshot.push, you push to deployment. So what I have here, since I don't have that particular app, I have my own app, my personal app, so that doesn't really help me except to look through and play around. But when you're going to set up one, this is important to do. I'm inside the application. Now I'm going to do divshot init. So it's very, I'm going to need to change that to appy probably. But so I want this to be my current. I want clean URLs. Sure. And that's going to basically mean that instead of .html, I'm just going to have URLs that are the name of the HTML file without dot something, which is really nice. And if you want a custom error page, you can put that here. All right. And would you like this to be created? Yes. Okay. So I'm going to do divshot login again, just because I don't know why this is giving this to me. All right. I go to authorize. DivShots, and it's yes. All right, test dash appy, and then we're gonna do dist and clean URLs. Sure. Name has been reserved. Okay, let's see what it says. So you'll notice now that this has been created, a divshot.json file. And you can see just what it did, basically. I'm going to edit this because I know that this will probably not work unless I do that. All right. And now I can do DivShot apps to see my apps. Okay. DivShot push. Done. Okay, since I don't have, I'm going to do grunt npm install power install, install all of the things. Okay. So notice now, I don't know why it's doing that, but let's see. I can now go and look at my app. Yep. So there it is. So the application's up there. I want to try and get my code up there now, though. And so to do that, I'm going to need to do npm install for my things here. So let's do front build. Okay. Okay. And I'm going to put this on GitHub. Here. Alright, so DivShot push. So it's doing a build here. And let's see. There it is. So I don't even need to have it on GitHub. That's good to know too. But then I probably won't have any of my SHAs or any of that good detailed stuff I would get as benefits from my GitHub. So now you'll notice that there's this idea of environments. There's development, staging, and production. So we'll go to staging. See, nothing is found, right? And that's because I have not promoted this. So if I want to do that, I can do, let's say I've done my testing on there. I've done, figured out, okay, everything looks good. This is the Allo Polymer initial project. I can now promote this from development to staging. Okay, now if I do this and I refresh, there it is. And it's that simple. Now I can do production as well. I can do the same thing. So 1, 2, 3 setup for this, and you have environments in here. And there's lots of hooks. We hooked in Travis for our application when we did for CI integration, when we did the Static Showdown last year. I did not personally do that configuration, so I can't really speak to it, but there are some really interesting integrations with DivShot as well. So I'm going to just do staging to production now that I've checked that. Okay. And there we go. And this is visible to anybody. You can decide too. There are different ways you can get permissioning and all that good stuff. So you can have a fully authenticated application there that's production ready. Now you can get really fast, really awesome speed from these applications, being that they're static files hosted on some CDN, and you can do a lot more than you would think. A lot of people tell me, well, I need Go, I need all this stuff, I need Ruby, I need whatever on the servers, and that may be true for some applications, but a lot of the heavy front-end applications, you don't need a lot of back-end. You need data for sure, but you can get data through Firebase if you need real time. You can get other service integrations for that, and there's a lot of options, is my point. And with Service Worker now, you can do offline even, which is pretty awesome. So that's pretty much DivShot in a nutshell. So if you have any questions, you can hit me up on Twitter at @eisaacsen. That's at EISAKSEN. Or you can catch me on at the Web Platform, which is the Web Platform Podcast Twitter handle as well. And that's thewebplatform.libsyn.com if you want to get the actual podcast and listen. They're free, so enjoy.